Hey everybody, this is the first discussion video I'll make, and first of all I want to say, my voice doesn't always sound like this, I came down with an illness, stomach virus probably, well probably not, considering my throat hurts the most, but I had to come back from a swim meet because of it, and I didn't enjoy that a whole lot, but you know what I am going to enjoy? I'm going to enjoy reviewing this book right here. And what book do I have for you guys? Well, you guys saw it. The Anarchist Cookbook. I mean, lots of great stuff in here. I mean, it's generally it's a widely revered book, well reviewed, and as you can tell, mine is heavily used. Yeah, just in different ways. It's a fantastic addition to any library. It's the talk of your friends, And I just want to talk about each section in particular, which sections I like the most. And probably the most interesting thing is the prefatory note before the Anarchist Cookbook. By the way, it's by William Powell. If you have another one, I mean, it's a pretty common name, but this is the one is used the most. So first we have the prefatory note. I don't know if you can see this. There you go. The Anarchist Cookbook. Just like this. Yeah. Anyway, so the prefatory note is quite interesting. I would read it just before you read the book, because it tells you a lot about the philosophy of anarchism in general, and it's pretty useful. And it's an ideology that many subscribe to. I think it's quite interesting, and you cannot prove if I subscribe to it or not, but we'll save that discussion for another time. Anyway, so again with the forward, the introduction, but I think we need to talk about the chapters, because the introduction is just basic material. I mean, stuff like history, what the Soviet idiots did, back in the day. Yeah, lots of stuff. Anyway, so you have chapter 1, which is drugs. I mean, and by the way, this is the part that I don't like, because you should never put substances in your body that you don't know. I mean, it's so dumb that people think that this should be a part of anarchism. And I don't like that. I think drugs are awful, and I think it causes damage to yourself. And I don't think you should do that. I mean, why harm yourself when you can harm bridges? And that's what exactly I'm saying here. So, like, I'm gonna go through this. It talks about pot, peyote, psilocybin, DMT, bananas, amphetamines, amyl nitrate, cough syrup, glue, nailing, cocaine, heroin, nutmeg, paregoric, peanuts, hydrangea leaves. It's all garbage. It's just all hot garbage. Like, I can't, you should never. It's not a good idea. I mean, say what you want about subjugating the populace by, I don't know, making weed legal and then making them like you because you like weed. I mean, as a political move, I mean, whatever you want. I digress. Anyway, so chapter 2 is electronic sabotage and surveillance, and this one, I gotta admit, is a little bit outdated. I mean, it doesn't teach you anything about, hacking into cybersecurity stuff, and that's where the date of this book really shows, and I think it's a problem. I forgot the exact copyright date, but yeah, it was 1971 was the first copyright, and of course, the latest one is 2002, and, sorry. But you're not going to find anything about, hacking, cybersecurity, or hacking into the government agency stuff. But overall, it's just interesting to see, how things used to work, and just eavesdropping, stuff like that. And I mean, it's not to say there isn't useful material in this, because there is. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how it's useful, because then I might die, but, you know. So overall, outdated. I still like it. I mean, it's interesting. And then you have chapter 3, which is probably the best out of all of them, because it talks about natural, non-lethal, and lethal weapons. It's by far the shortest chapter in the book, I think. Probably not, other than chapter 2, of course. But it has a lot of stuff it goes over. It goes over natural weapons, hand-to-hand combat, which, of course, guns are just the best weapon. I mean, they're too OP. I mean, you have knives. I mean, if an American went to London, it would be no contest. Like, the gangs there wouldn't be able to do anything. We have a freaking SMG, just, you know. And by the way, teach you how to make those. So you better listen to this book if you ever want to protect yourself from the feds and the UN, or as I like to call them, the Antichrist. Anyway, so we have chapter 4, and by the way, chapter 3 rating, I'd give it a solid, like 8 out of 10. I really like it. 8 out of 10. Drugs is 0 out of 10. Never do drugs. And electronic sabotage surveillance, I'd give it like a 4 out of 10 because it's kind of interesting. Kind of, you know, but outdated, of course. And chapter 4 is where it gets interesting, because it's just what you'd expect. I mean, how to make bombs, how to explode things, how to blow up buildings, blow up bridges, you know, stuff like that. Interesting stuff. And got lots of chapters, probably the biggest chapter by far, telling you all the traps. And the reason why I like chapter 3 is because it's a great defensive sort of thing. And while chapter 4 is kind of like it's more of a offense type of thing, which, by the way, this is for entertainment purposes only. I hate to say it, but like, I'm not the type of guy to incite violence. I'm just your friendly neighborhood guy with nothing wrong in his life. Anyway, so yeah, chapter 4. It's going to be interesting. And lots of traps, lots of anything. And really, I think it's a great book. And the figure is very descriptive, just a great book. Although I have a problem with the theory of anarchism itself. And how can society progress without organization, right? It just can't. I mean, it's like telling the kid who never cleans his room, never does anything, or never, you know, organizes work, which, by the way, used to be me. And I still am kind of bad at it, even though I do try and clean my room now. But anyway, it's like trying to tell him, you know, make our government, except there is no government, and nobody rules anybody. But even though you kill people, and that's technically victimizing somebody, making somebody, anyway, it's just, it sucks. I mean, anarchism just sucks in general. Like, unless you're doing it for a cause, like, hey, let's start a communist regime, you know? I mean, let's start this, let's start that, you know? It's useless. It's like my ex-girlfriend. She couldn't do, never mind. That's also a story for another time. But of course, you know, as time progresses, maybe we can look back at these clearly outdated ideas, or maybe none of you have even, like, considered them in the first place, which is fine, but, like, anyway, I'm sorry that I don't have the same jovial attitude that I would in later ones, because, you know, I'm just kind of sick, and I just thought this would be a good idea. It's a first time thing, and yeah, peace out. This is the first video of my catalog, and I want you guys to be happy and have just a great day, and Yeah.